Well, hello. This is lesson 7.5, Properties of Logs. So we're going to start from the beginning. If you notice that laws of exponents, when I take a power to a power, I multiply their exponents. Okay, well, it applies to properties of logs also. If you see the squared button, the squared is a power, and you're going to bring the power down in front of the log. So it'll be 2 times log base 5 of 7. Okay, if we go back to laws of exponents, when I take a base and multiply it by the same base, then what I want to do is I want to add the exponent, so that should be 4 plus 3 is 7. Similarly, when we have multiplication of logs, so this is actually 7 times 2, which was 14, and we broke it down into 7 times 2. Where you see the multiplication sign, a plus sign will occur between the two individual logs. So you take log the base 5 of the first one, which is 7, plus log the base 5 of the second one, which is 2. What we're doing to these when we use the properties, we're expanding using the properties of logs. Now go back to the subtraction of exponents. So over here, so if you look, when we divide like bases, we subtract the exponents. So 4 minus 3 gives me a to the first power. Come over to the logs, you have 7 divided by 2. Well, where the division sign is, we're going to replace it with a subtraction sign. So you take log the base 5 of the top number minus log the base 5 of the bottom number. And that will be how we use expanding with properties. Okay, so let's do a few examples. These were the ones that we did today on our Zoom before we had to get off for period 3. So if you notice here, I have log the base 7 of 5 times x squared times y. Everywhere there's a multiplication sign, you're going to write a plus sign. So log the base 7 of 5 plus log to the base 7 of x squared plus log to the base 7 of y. Now if you notice though, we got a property. So we have the power property. So the power is going to go in front of that particular log. So if we write, this will be our final answer, we'll go log the base 7 of 5 plus, we're going to bring the 2 down in front of log the base 7 of x plus log to the base 7 of y. And that will be the answer for the problem we just did. Okay, so the next one, the only thing it has, if you notice, is a power. The power of 3, and the power will come down in front, so the answer would be 3 log to the base 4 of 4. We're not going to simplify log to the base 4 of 4, which is 1, if you remember. We're just going to leave it as that, and we're just going to expand using properties. Okay, the second one, eventually you will go to this particular problem and you can go straight to the answer. But right now we're going to divide it into steps. The very first step you're going to do is the subtraction property for division. So you're going to take log of base 4 of the top one minus log the base 4 of the bottom one. Okay? Then we also have multiplication and we have a power going on. So this 3 you're going to bring down in front of your x, but you're also going to have a property of multiplication right there. So if we split this, that is going to be log to the base 4 of the first one, which is 7, plus, because we had a product, and we're going to bring the 3 down in front, log the base 4 of x. And that would be the numerator of our fraction. We're going to bring down the subtraction sign, and then the bottom, the only thing we have is the power property, and we're going to put that down in front of the bottom log. So 2 times log the base 4 of y. And that would be the answer for letter C. Letter D is going to be very similar to that. I'm going to go ahead and try and just write the answer out, okay? And then I'm using the same thing. I'm going to do the subtraction property first. Then I have a multiplication of power on top and a multiplication of power on the bottom. So the final answer would be log to the base 8 of the first one, plus, we're going to bring the power down in front of the a, so log the base 8 of the second one. We're going to subtract the bottom. Well, on the bottom we have b times c squared. So log the base 8 of the first one. Oops, that's not very good. So let's do b. Plus log to base 8 of c, but I had a squared, so I got to bring the square down in front. Now, we got a little bit of a problem. We're subtracting both of these things, so we need to put parentheses around both of those things. So I have this and this, so I subtract both of them, and that would be my final answer. You will probably see the second part written a couple different ways, but we will write it this way. Okay. Okay, this next one is a condense. So on condense, what you're going to do is you're going to take the expansion part and you're going to bring it all back to make it equal to 1 log. So the first thing I look for is I got a power, and that goes to my x. This means division, and then I have a product right here. So both of these will be on the top, and then this part will be on the bottom. So you're going to write 1 log. There is no number for the base, so this is actually called base 10. Your calculators are programmed in base 10. So you can write it 10 down below, or you can not write the 10. So I'm just going to go ahead and erase that. The 5 is going to be multiplied by the x to the 3rd power. So this would be 5x to the 3rd over, because the division sign is represented by the minus sign. And then we're going to bring the power up from the 4, so that would be y to the 4th on the bottom. There we go. That would be the answer for that top part. Okay, so here's the fun part we did not get to today. Okay, on this one, we're going to be using these numbers up here in the very end. Okay, so I have rounded them to the 2nd decimal place. We usually use 4. We just rounded these. So there are 3 numbers you're going to use. You're going to use the number 12, the number 5, and the number 3. So using 12s, 5s, and 3s, we're going to use multiplication, division, and exponents to come up with this part of the fraction. Well, if you look, 5 and 3 are already 2 numbers that I'm going to use. So we're going to split it using properties, and we're going to go log to base 12 of the first one minus log to base 12 of the second one. Well, if you look up above the problem, log to base 12 of 5 is 0.65. And we're going to subtract log to base 12 of 3 is